This is the new look and feel of QuickBase, and there are a lot of changes that are made. Let's take a quick look at some of them. We're on the My Apps page, used to be called the My QuickBase page. You'll find all the applications you've either been invited into or if you've created. You can see it in iconic view or detailed view. If you'd like to, you can come up under your name and adjust your preferences, and those preferences include an airiness to the way that the pages are displayed, giving a lot of space between the fields and the rows and reports, or you might choose to make it a little more dense as you move to the right here. You can update your email address and your name and your screen name if you'd like to. Let's go back out to the My Apps page. Now, there are 3 different ways you can create applications. If you have that capability and you click here, you can choose from a template. We've got a couple of hundred application templates. You can import from a spreadsheet or you can create from scratch. If you'd like to be able to create applications, you'll have to speak with your account administrator for permission. Let's take a look at ABC Project Manager 3. This is just an example application so that we can get an idea of what the landscape looks like. We're on the Home tabs, used to be the dashboard page here. Every time you click on this here, you'll come back to your default home page, and just like the other home pages, you can change these reports if you're an administrator. You can also collapse these sections down below here. As you work with QuickBase, you'll find these sections open and close. Customizing is in the same spot. Let's take a look at some of the other tabs here. Users, if you happen to be an administrator and you want to share your application with a new user, you can enter an email address and select the behavior for which you would like them to behave. That controls what they can see and do. The other tabs up above here are tables. If you're looking here and you're pressing on any one of these tables, you'll find what you're looking for here. It may be in a different location. But notice as I click through here and click on tasks that this search area opens up. If I want to see those tasks from 1 or 2 or 3 different projects, I can do that. And of course, this little drop down allows me to group these so I can change the look and feel of these reports. You can also save right from here. If you choose not to use this faceted search functionality here, you can collapse it over on the left, or you can open it up and use advanced search, which many of us are familiar with here, where you're selecting a field, and if it contains or is equal to something, you can do a quick search like that. Let's go back and click on the tab. We're on the table called Tasks, and if you click on Reports and Charts, you'll see all the reports that have already been created here. Now, as you use reports, notice I'm going to click on List All, and we come into this report called List All. Now let's go back to that list of reports. You have recents remembered for you. If you happen to take a report and make a change to it, maybe you drag something around, it immediately asks you if you want to save it, and you can save it as a test, for instance, a personal report. Many of you only have the capability of creating personal reports, but the nice part about that is that next time you visit here, you will have a listing of just the reports that you've created, and you of course can collapse these sections. Those that are administrators can organize and actually add sections so that you can control the look and feel of this. If you've got so many reports, you can actually use this for searching, which is really great. Some customers have hundreds of reports, and this makes it a lot easier to find the ones that you're looking for. Clicking on this collapses the section. Now, as you're looking at a report, there are all the same functions that you had there before. They might just be in different places. Notice that you can see add a new task here, but grid edit is very familiar to many. You can come in and altogether adjust a whole bunch of different tasks just like that, and then save them, and it updates all the records. You can email this spontaneously to anybody you want to. You can also click on More to find things and ways that you can subscribe to reports. And by subscription, I mean that, let's say, on a daily basis, I'm going to save this and it's going to be sent to me, or I can select various days. And if I'm an administrator on the application, I can also designate other people in other roles to also receive this report. That's a subscription report. If you want to further customize the report, you can click on Customize, and this may look familiar, where you can opt out certain fields to be included or excluded in your report. You can also group them, and you can also filter them so that, for instance, I only want to see those where the project's name contains web presence, for instance, and then display this. And you always have the option to save it as a new report, save as increased web presence tasks, for instance, and that too is added to one of the reports over here. I'm opening and closing this, and I haven't shown you the settings tab over here. If I'm in the Home tab here on the dashboard, I'm looking at the settings for the account, and these are typically only available to administrators, but these are expose all the inner workings, the application properties, and a whole bunch of other places within the administrative toolkit. Let's collapse that. Now, what happens if I am on a task table and I see settings? Each one of these tables has its own landing page, or a home page, I guess you could call it. It's the default down here, and as I scroll through here, you can see there are different reports here. You can customize these if you are an administrator and select different reports to be the default here. But each one of these tables that I'm clicking on here also has a settings tab over here, and if I click on that, this gives me all the settings that relate to that particular table. So you have all kinds of controls, just as you have in the past if you're an administrator. Let's take a look at an individual record. I'm going to go over to Tasks, and I'm going to scroll down to Increase Web Presence and select this project. Click. Now here we're looking at a form, and just like the dashboard, you'll find that you can collapse these sections. Very handy thing to have here. You can also find Edit up here in the right hand side. And when you go into edit mode, you can select all the things that you have known, and you can of course collapse these sections just as we've been talking about here. And open them up again. Notice I'm way down on the page, but the save is still here. So if you've made changes, you don't have to scroll up or scroll down. Wherever you are and wherever you're finished, you can click Save and it updates the record. So that's omnipresent, that save there. Of course, you can email spontaneously to anyone. That hasn't changed. You can also copy and get notifications. Now, what about notifications? There's a couple of different ways you can get into setting up notifications. You can click on here and create your own notification. I'd like to know, for instance, when notify me when a new record is added. New record added. And I'll say only when a new record is added, and of course I can put the text and then save this, and this becomes one of those notifications. Now, under Settings, if you have access to that, clicking on Settings, you can also come in here and click on Notifications, as well as get access to all the other administrative functions like relationships and advanced settings and properties and things of that nature. Notice also up above that there's an icon here. This is, again, typically administrative, but I'm just mentioning to that for those of you in the audience that are administrators inside your account. Let's exit the settings. One of the largest things that we've got changed here are these tabs that are up above here. Recent is the last 12 places you've been. This is a very healthy and handy navigation aid. I urge you to use that. If you're looking for something across all tables, this replaces the global find. I want to find Acme, and you'll notice there's one Acme company, one Acme project, 8 tasks, and all the details are below here. Notice as I scroll down that there's an arrow here which allows me to come back to the top of the screen. If you get lost in here, if you've got any questions whatsoever, you can click on Help. If you happen to be editing something, it'll say about editing records. This is contextually sensitive. It also allows you to search for things like email and do a search, and it looks and finds 629 entries across all these different data sources. If you happen to be looking for online, you can sort it just for online. If you happen to be more on the technical side and you happen to click on API, these are the things around email with the API. If you can't find something, you can also come down to the live community. The community of QuickBase users are helping other community members. So if you post something here, maybe it's an idea, maybe you want to brainstorm, you're likely to get a good response, and you'll find that out on the My Apps page. In the upper right corner, you can click on Open Support Center, and this takes you back out to the main QuickBase site where you can open up a support ticket here too. Hopefully you like the new look and feel of QuickBase. Feel free to let us know. If you come back into QuickBase and go to the My Apps tab up above here, you'll find feedback over here on the side. We're looking forward to hearing what your comments and ideas are. Thank you.